Hey everyone, we're live. It's me again. Hello, and I'm joined by a couple of members of Curse of. Well, is it Eibon or Ebon? How would you
Eibon.
pronounce it?
Eibon.
Eibon, Curse of Eibon.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I said it when I played it on the show. I thought I said Eibon, which is Lovecraftian, which is like why I'm kind of interested in it. But do you want to? My first question is always like about the band name. Tell us about the band name, how you came up with it, what it means.
Well, since we're inspired by Lovecraft, it was like you have the Book of Eibon, and for those who don't know, Eibon was a wizard who dabbled with dark magic and incantations to summon demons. And with the whole plague that we have going and everything, it just makes sense. Like the Curse of Eibon, because it kind of brought us together.
Yeah, and that's it because you only formed you was just telling me before we started just last year, March last year. So you're completely and utterly formed during Corona times.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of cool because it shows life can go on still, even though with this crap hanging over us all.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right. So, what do you want to just talk about your band for a second, about your style? How would you describe your style? What bands do you sound close to? Who are your influences?
You go ahead, Martin.
All right. Yeah, I mean, lots of inspirations from my part is like Swedish metal acts like At the Gates and In Flames and those guys. So just trying to fit whatever kind of fits our songs. The process is overall that Freddy's is coming up with some kind of melody of keys and stuff. Then sends them to me. I'll do some outline of guitars, and then we'll kind of walk from there. And yeah, it's a kind of a mixture of different stuff. I'm
That kind of melodic death metal,
like Foo Fighters and stuff like that as well. But so lots of melodies and stuff.
Yeah. And how did you actually manage to form? Like, so was you on lockdown? Did you know each other previously, or how did you manage to form during these times?
Thing is, I'm a little bit, let's say, over creative when it comes to create new stuff. I love like doing different kinds of musical styles, and I'm not able to write guitars or anything. So basically, I had an idea where I wanted to do something like death metal, but with occult themes, and it basically started from there. I talked to the drummer Anders, who's a friend of mine who I've known for a couple of years now. We played together, and asked him if he was interested. And then I talked to Martin because we were in contact for another band project that he was mixing and mastering. And then Matthias, who plays bass, he's also he did some vocal parts for another band. And I don't remember if I asked him to play bass or how it actually came to be, but well, here we are.
And so you've not. Have you actually all been in the same room together, or is it all literally done online?
Not yet. Now everything has been online so far, but I mean we're planning on it.
Yeah, of course. Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
We're doing the virtual messenger group kind of calls.
Are you all in the same kind of area of Sweden, or are you living quite far away from each other?
We live quite far away. Me and Anders, we live in Gothenburg on the west coast, and Martin and Matthias lives a bit more in the middle part of Sweden. Isn't it right, Martin?
Yeah, something like that.
And Gothenburg's like one of the meccas of metal in the world, isn't it? Is it not true? There's a death or a metal band every 5 yards or something in Gothenburg. you can't throw a stone in any direction without hitting a member of a metal band.
Well, to be honest, it's the scene itself is not that big, so it seems like a lot of people know each other, So yeah, maybe.
Right. Is it? I mean, what about gigs and that? The scene must be good for venues and that, is it not?
No, not really.
No.
Especially not for smaller, unestablished bands. It's pretty rough. I mean, of course, right now there's nothing, and one of the biggest clubs just went bankrupt. So who knows what the
Yeah.
future will hold for
Not good. Whatever happens, it's not. No, it's definitely not gonna be good. So, when so far you've like I say you've only formed in March last year, and you've already got 2 singles and an EP together. And how did the process of writing that? You say you start off by doing keyboards. Is that right, Freddie?
Yeah, basically, I since I'm pretty crappy at writing analog music, I usually write the choirs and the orchestral parts first, and make like a base of the track, and then I send it to Martin, and he adds some, guitar ideas, and then we just build it from there.
And then you put it all together. So have you like gone over it lots and lots until you're absolutely 100% happy with it? You seem to be quite quick in the way you've got your stuff written. Was that the idea to sort of do as quickly as you could, or just however it came along?
I don't know. I mean, like it's part of the let's say the new music industry. I mean, like albums is not as popular as it was once upon a time, and to stay kind of like there's so much content going out there, so many bands releasing songs and stuff. So what we did is kind of formed a strategy that an EP is a good format. Maybe in the future we'll write an album as well. But get content out there, get songs out there, and be kind of active as well, to kind of be present in on other band sites and in forums and stuff like that. So yeah, I think we're both me and Freddie is very creative people. So once Freddie gets something, sends it to me, then I'll lay my guitars and stuff. We'll have a bit of back and forth and discuss a few things, but then kind of
Yeah,
move on.
basically. Yeah, sorry, Martin, for interrupting you, but yeah, basically, me and Martin work very closely together, and then Matthias and Anders, they are both they are very quick as well, and they are very adaptable. So everything is a very smooth process, to be honest. It's not
Yeah.
that we want to be quick. It's just that when everybody gets the feeling of the song, or understands the idea, it's like, let's go for it.
So it's been really easy writing. I suppose it's kind of weird. Like when you're like we'll take it with your other bands. Have you always been like in a jam kind of thing? Have you done this online thing before? Because I remember back in the day when I was in the band, like it was kind of like fledgling, and the internet was kind of fledgling. Then you had some technology, but nowadays it seems like people can just write everything on their own if they want to. Like you could do one person could do every single instrument themselves, kind of thing. It's just so much technology. But is this like new way of doing it? New for you, or have you been doing this with your previous bands? This kind of format of
I would
creating.
say I've done both of it. Previous bands that I've been in, we jammed, kind of created the songs in the rehearsal space. Sure, we did some stuff at home as well, but we kind of brought everything to the rehearsal space and formed everything. And I think that it's just kind of the last few years I've been starting to deal with other bands that I'm in as well, kind of send back and forth musical ideas and then form it to songs and structure everything, and then since both in this band and other bands, I'm kind of the engineering person of it as well, so it's kind of an easy thing for me to collect everything and structure and
Are there pros and cons to the 2 different ways of doing it? I mean, some people would say that if you're all together in the room, it's more like immediate and more kind of organic sort of stuff. Would you think there's any cons to doing it on your own?
Depends on the other people you're in the band with. For a previous band that worked, and that was kind of why we wrote the songs we wrote. this band with Freddie and me and Matthias and Anders, it's kind of, I think we are thinking very much alike as well.
Yeah, it always comes down to mutual understandings. I mean, the guys trust me when I write the basic parts, and then I fully trust them when they commit and write the rest of the song. I mean, it's about, we share an idea of how we want things, and everybody understands the way it should sound. For me, this is a very natural way to work because I've done it with so many bands, and I think I'm more new school and old school when it comes to writing. Also, I'm a little bit of a control freak, so I like to, yeah, have a little bit of control as well. It's both pro and con, of course.
Yeah. And how does this band compare to your other bands? So you both got other bands that you're working with as well. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your other bands, and like what does Curse of Eibon provide that you don't get from the other bands?
Well, first and foremost, it's a whole different band. I mean, the sound is different. The theme is different because, of course, we have a heavy theme in this band. So I'd say it differs a lot, to be honest.
What about you, mine?
Yeah, it does. I mean, another band that I'm playing the drums in that band, and it's more of a 70s rock kind of vibe. Lots of grooves and stuff. And another metal band that I'm in, it's it is very different in that sense, and kind of the musical aspect of it. But yeah, it's really interesting to be in a lot of different genres and kind of see what you can bring from other parts as well into to Curse of Eibon as well. So yeah, it's a creative space.
And talking of the theme, I love the Cthulhu mythos and Lovecraft. I do like a regular theme show every the first Sunday after Christmas is Cthulhu Mass, so I play nothing but Lovecraftian bands on my podcast. So obviously I've got you guys in the folder for next Cthulhu Mass already. But do you want to tell us about the theme? What is it that you like about that theme? About the Lovecraft stories and related mythos, and maybe we'll go through the songs and you can tell us how they relate to the theme as well.
Of course. And well, me personally, is just that there is something else out there. There is some ancient dark evil, and it's from another dimension, and there's all these creatures and all this lore that is. It's just, I just love that stuff. It's like, I'm a huge horror movie fan, especially like 80s and 90s horror. So, for instance, The Beyond, which is loosely based on one of the Lovecraft stories, I just love it. That's something that speaks to me.
Yeah, and of course there was the film of The Beyond as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, is it Tillinghast? Is that the name of the character from The Beyond? That's the one where they're making the vibrations on it to see into another dimension, kind of thing.
I don't know, but the Beyond movie I've seen is the Fulci one. That is.
That one, yeah. So that's got the book of. I think the From Beyond.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
From Beyond is the one with dimensions and the gland that grows out of the head.
The pineal gland.
That's exactly. The pineal gland. Yeah. And then of course I love Reanimator. I mean, you cannot love it. It's a classic.
Yeah. And so far, like from what I've seen, you've got Dagon, which obviously is, and the Book of Eibon itself, and Sophogua is always a hard one to pronounce.
Yeah.
do you have any rhymes that go with the song Sophogua? It's a
No, not really. I don't know. The first EP was a little bit special also, to be honest, because Seek to Destroy was not Lovecraftian inspired from the beginning when I was thinking about it. But then when I actually wrote the lyric and thought about it, it just, you can kind of, what's the word? if you read the lyrics, you could probably get your idea on how it all
it all came to be. Are the lyrics on actually on here? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, the lyrics aren't on Metal Archives. Oh, it's on the Metal Archives page. The Curse of Eibon is the Book of Eibon. Is it actually a tape or is it actually just a picture of a book on that? I couldn't quite work it out.
No, it's basically a tomb, so it's like an old book.
Oh, so, right, yeah.
So if you think like a grimoire. Of sorts.
Yeah. I saw the picture on the Bandcamp and I thought it was a cassette. And I thought, that's an interesting looking cassette. Is it actually available in a physical format though, or is it only digital?
It's only digital right now, but we're talking to a small American label that will print it physically. 100 copies, I think. So it's going to be kind of limited.
Yeah. Is it going to be cassette or
CD?
CD, okay. Because I saw that picture with the book, and I thought it was actually a cassette tape. I thought, oh, that's quite neat.
It would be pretty neat to have it on cassette, but I'm not sure how expensive it is to make those.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe in the future you get like one that actually looks like a book, and with like you open it up and there's a cassette inside or something. But yeah,
that will be a neat idea. Really.
What about you, Martin? Are you into the Lovecraft mythos and the demons and so forth?
I mean, there's definitely an interest in it. I'm not as deep into it as Freddy. I think I enjoy the darkness. I grew up in the north of Sweden, and north of Sweden has a lot of darkness and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's. I think the guitars reflect my kind of upbringing as well into that kind of form of mentality and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Is there any kind of old Swedish myths as well that kind of tie into like unknown, like pre-God kind of beliefs?
Yeah, of sorts. Yeah.
And you got no like, is it trolls? You get trolls in Sweden, or is that Finland?
Well, we have, of course, I think every Nordic country has some kind of trolls, but we also have a bit of stranger creatures like Skogsrå, which is like a beautiful woman on the front, but on her backside she's hollow like a hollowed out tree.
Oh no, that's pretty creepy.
It is pretty creepy, yeah.
Any plans to bring a story of that into maybe a song one time?
Yeah, I mean, why not? It's not like we are just sticking to Lovecraft. We're sticking to the occult. So, I mean, of course, it would be interesting to bring in a Swedish or Nordic theme into this as well. I mean, there's all the possibilities.
Obviously, no way of planning it yet, but I'm thinking like maybe a tour in the future with Necronomicon and Anna Sprekliken Colton. That would be cool. And Book of Eibon on a tour. That would work really well. Three tomes of ancient darkness, like touring together.
Yeah, that will be fun. And talking about touring, we are planning to go out and play shows as soon as it's possible. But to be honest, I'm thinking not before 2022, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. It's just what's it been like there for the corona? Has it been particularly virulent, or you been fairly safe from it? Wasn't Sweden the country that like decided to have no lockdown and
yeah?
How did that work out? I've heard some people say that it was worked out all right and like herd immunity or something like that, and others saying it hasn't done very well.
I mean, I think it's kind of worked out quite fine, actually. I support the no lockdown version of it. I think that in the long run, you'll kind of have something positive out of that.
Yeah. So a lot of people. Did you have many fatalities from it there?
Yeah, I mean, compared to how many people we've had a high death toll.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was probably more or less expected, but I don't think that they expected the people to get contaminated. I mean, such a high infection rate. I don't know. It's always complicated, but yeah. I mean, we have been able to live pretty normal per se. So,
And
yeah.
no one you're close to come down with it, or you haven't come down with it yourselves?
Yeah, well, I've had it, and my wife have had
Yeah.
it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
kind of it's kind of like a colour from outer space or something. It's just something no one knows how to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's some unknown force that just infects and corrupts.
Yeah,
It's actually
definitely.
fun. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I don't know if you're coming to that part, but we're actually working on a second EP.
Right. Yeah. Let's talk about that then. Let's talk about how's that coming along? How far into it are you?
I would say it's what, Martin, 80% complete.
Yeah, something around that. Yeah.
Yeah, 80+% complete.
Yeah.
How many tracks are you looking at for it, and have you got a name for it yet?
Is it 5 tracks, right?
Yeah, 5 tracks.
Yeah, exactly. And as for name, I haven't actually come up with anything yet, but I've been thinking about a couple of names, but it's going to be a little bit different from the Book of Eibon.
Right. In what way different? Musically different or thematically different?
Thematically different, because this is a whole story. So it's
Right.
the first time I've actually written. I wouldn't say it's a real short story, but the songs connect.
Right. And is it taken from a particular short story or novella, or is it an original piece?
It's an original piece, but it's heavily inspired by Colors Out of Space, and also a little bit of Shadow over Innsmouth-ish.
Right.
So there are a lot of heavy inspiration naturally, but I tried to make it my own kind of story.
Right. That's cool. And do you write? Are you the only one who writes the lyrics?
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about lyrics then a bit more. Maybe we could do a song by song kind of thing. So Book of Eibon, is that the first, or is that just literally just talking about the book?
Yeah, exactly. It's about the Wizard Eibon, and of course about the book in short. So there's nothing deeper in it. It's basically a short who Eibon was and the book, and everything about it. Basically.
Right. And that was the Book of Eibon wasn't like created by Lovecraft. It was Clark Ashton Smith, wasn't it, who first turned the Book of Eibon. He wrote it in one of his short stories.
Yeah, and then I think, didn't Lovecraft insert it into the Cthulhu mythos?
They did, yeah. They basically used each other.
Exactly.
So they're kind of interesting. I don't know the full story of it, but I know there was lots of correspondence between like a little circle of writer friends in the old weird tales and that kind of thing. And they kind of fed off each other, didn't they? Which was cool, and used each other's ideas. I think even there's some Lovecraftian demon was mentioning like the Conan stories. Because he was right. Yeah, Robert Howard.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot. I think there's a lot of the great old ones in Conan as well. When you mention it, I mean, is it the Stygians who worship
possibly? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly all the names now, but there's so much influence from his writings that have gone down, like comic books, which I'm big into comic books. And
yeah, me too.
What do you read?
Usually, I'm a heavy. I'm very much into Carnage and Venom and those kind of characters. Right. But then I also like things like some separate stories from Batman. I'm a huge Joker fan. So
right.
And then I actually read there's 2 compilations of Lovecraft novels made into comics,
right.
Which I don't remember what they're called, but they're also pretty good.
I know there's a Batman one called Shadow over Gotham.
Oh, really? I haven't read that one.
Yeah, that's obviously based on Shadow over Innsmouth.
Of course.
So, yeah, good. I can't remember the other. I'm sure there's just loads. I can't even think about them. And also, obviously, horror films and also heavy metal. So many bands. I think the first Lovecraftian song I heard was "Anti-God" by Ripping Corpse. Do you know that one?
No, I haven't heard of it.
Ripping Corpse are awesome. It's Eric Rutan who does Morbid Angel, I think, every now and again.
Oh, good.
Yeah, check that one out. It's a really good track. What about you? Into comic books at all, Martin?
Yeah, some. Definitely. We're just doing a kind of a Marvel jigsaw puzzle here as well. So
You didn't what? Sorry,
a Marvel kind of jigsaw puzzle thing. Here as well.
Oh, jigsaw puzzle. Okay,
yeah.
I didn't catch what you were saying. Sorry, the accent.
Yeah.
I was like, what? That's cool. I like Marvel. I'm more of a DC fan, really. But yeah, I don't mind some old Marvel. So that's mainly I do now is collect old comics. So what else is? Let's go for the next track. So Dagon, right? Obviously, he's the named after an actual god that was believed back in the day. But it's kind of like the way I read it, it was. They equated him to Dagon, but they was calling him Dagon because that's what he was called originally. But he was not actually like Dagon from the proper religion or something. But he's like the deep one of the deep ones, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And he is. I think he's the greater deep one. I'm not sure if he's not one of the ancient.
No, it gets confusing. One. Yeah, it does.
It does. But I know that
you got the outer gods and yeah.
Exactly. It's such a complicated but interesting mythos.
Yeah.
But he's a deep one, and I think him together with Mother Hydra, I think more or less. But yeah, the song Dagon is obviously taken from the Shadow of Innsmouth, basically.
Yeah, there's a band called Swamp Cult. Do you know them? I'm not sure what I think from Holland or Netherlands rather. I can't remember now. But they've done their first album was all based on one of the early stories, the festival. So they did a concept album on the festival, one of the early Lovecraft novellas or short stories. And I just thought it'd be fun if a band did. Because there's a few bands called Innsmouth, but I thought it would be good if one dressed up with the Innsmouth look kind of thing. That would be quite fun.
Like a hybrid.
Yeah. Add a few tentacles. It might be a bit hard to. We could play drums with tentacles. I know, maybe not.
we could dress Anders up like a squid.
Yeah.
And he could have drum playing squid.
Yeah, that would be different.
It would.
Right, so then what's Seek to Destroy about then? How comes that you've got that one doesn't even look like a Lovecraft? Obviously, you haven't all got to be there based on that, but how did that song get into the mix if it's not, part of the mythos?
It was the first one. If you think about the chorus, is like you seek to destroy me, but you can't win. I mean, it's basically how you can translate it to like me being like a cult that worships the great old ones, and people seek to destroy the cult, because they don't want the end to come, obviously. So that's basically when I thought about it. I'm like, that translates well, even though it's not pretty obvious what it is about,
Yeah. You can seek to destroy the cult, but Cthulhu's coming, whatever.
Exactly. You can't stop it. You can't stop the end of times.
When the stars are right, he's going to be rising up from his long slumber.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. So the next song, Sephoguan, as well as being hard to say, it's another one of the Sephogua is another one of the demons. I don't think it was created by Lovecraft. I think it was one of the people who he was in a correspondence with who come up with Sephogua.
I think it's the same principle as with the what was the other DT we were talking about, but
the Clark Ashton Smith, he created.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And I think it's the same thing there. I can't even pronounce it. Satsuga. Well, anyway,
I always go Sephogua. There was a band called Sephogua as well, black metal.
Really?
Yeah, quite a long time ago. I've got one of their albums.
Basically, he's a lazy god. I'm not sure he's a great old one, but I think he actually is. But he's also called the Sleeper of Enkai, and he's like, basically he just sits and waits for his offerings to come to him, and his minions are the formless spawn, which obviously occurs a couple of times in Lovecraft stories, and so I just thought it was fun to include something that isn't really, maybe so known. I mean, Cthulhu is obvious, isn't it?
Yeah. It's Cthulhu's like kind of like gone into so many different. I've got a Cthulhu teddy bear, for God's sake. So he's not as scary as he was, maybe, but yeah, he's the name that people know. Even
exactly.
Though, yeah. Also, the just the whole mystery of the mythos is fun as well. The fact that no one can really say Cthulhu because it's not meant for our tongues. That it's not made for human tongues. The word, and I think the way most people who say Cthulhu, like I say Cthulhu as well, because everyone knows what I'm talking about. But I think Lovecraft himself said it was pronounced like Cthulhu or something like that, like a kind of, glottal kind of throat sound kind of thing. Probably like it sounds like most Dutch people actually. So I think they have that kind of, and Welsh people they kind of talk like that. So maybe they could say Cthulhu's real name, but I don't know. All right. So the last thing on the EP, Afu. I've not heard of Afu. Well, they have to tell me more about him or her or it.
The Crawling Chaos is also one of his name. Or
all right.
Azathothep is also one of the names.
Oh, right. So that's another name for Azathoth. Okay.
Yeah, Azathoth. Yeah, exactly. He's the Black Wind. He has so many names.
Yeah.
And you know that he's a herald of Azathoth, the Mad God.
Yeah, Azathoth is the nuclear chaos, isn't he? The mad god.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's not. I'm trying to think what it is.
He's the dancing mad god, if I'm not.
Yeah.
He's basically. I think he's the son of Azathoth, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, basically, it's a herald of the great old ones, and he is basically on this earth to just spread madness and chaos.
Yeah, he's like the messenger of the gods, isn't he?
Yeah, but basically he just likes. I would say he's for mischief, but in a more deranged way, not like Loki, for instance.
Right. Is it another name for Nyarlathotep?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Because he's the emissary for Azathoth. I was trying to think of his bloody name now. I couldn't think of his bloody name.
Yeah, and he's also, I think, one of the most common names is the Crawling Chaos.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Or the Black Pharaoh.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, that's another thing that I always like about, and it's hard to bloody remember it because there's so many different names for characters and different writers to put their own take on it as well, didn't they? And like, it didn't even necessarily use them in the same way, kind of thing.
No, exactly. Yeah. But he's an interesting character, and I think he's really important to the Cthulhu mythos, so to speak. Yeah.
But he's like a messenger of the outer gods, because Azathoth is the outer gods, and the great old ones like Cthulhu.
Right, the outer gods, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're enemies as well, aren't they? They kind of had an ancient war or something on Earth, didn't they? I'm not, if I recall.
I'm not entirely sure. To be honest, I love the whole mythos thing, but I'm not so read up on everything because it's too much.
Exactly, yeah. And there's so many people who've written about it, and it's still writing about it to this day, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, coming up with their own names. I remember I used to do role-playing games, and there was this like horror game we played called Chill. And I never had. There was a Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, but I wanted to make like Cthulhian kind of demon. I made one called Atlochlachak, who was what it was called. And we made I made a campaign with him, kind of thing. That was quite cool.
The only role-playing game I played, which was Cthulhu-based, was Arkham Horror.
All right. That's cool.
I love that one. It's an amazing game, but you always end up dying. It doesn't matter what you do, you always die.
Do you not go insane first? You've got to go insane before you die. That's the rule.
It's true. I mean, if you're lucky, you die. If you're unlucky, you go insane. But the god always wakes up. Always.
That sounds like a fun game. What's the purpose of the game then? How do you win the game if you're going to die?
I don't know, but maybe I'm just terrible or unlucky. I'm not sure.
Either that, or it's true to life, and no one wins the game. That would make more sense when you're dealing with ancient gods. No one wins.
Exactly, especially on that caliber.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk again. We've gone through the tracks on the EP. What about the singles? Is there any? What was the first single you did? Was
Seek to Destroy.
Seek to Destroy, then Dagon.
Yeah.
So they both ended up being on the EP, didn't they? So are you going to be doing a single again before you do the next EP, or is it straight onto the next EP? Are you going to release them like a track at a time, or just release the whole EP when it's done?
I don't know. We haven't decided yet.
No, we haven't. But yeah, I think, to be honest, this EP doesn't make any sense to release. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to release a single from it because.
Because it's the concept.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to sound like a douchebag. You can listen to it any way you like, but if you listen to it in one streak, it's going to make much more sense, I think.
How about, have you got any like literary aspirations? Are you considering like maybe putting a short story along to go with it, like something that people can read the story and then take the different parts from it for the song kind of thing? Have you thought about doing that?
I haven't, but I'm not a really good writer per se. I can write lyrics, but I can't really write stories because,
you could if you tried.
Maybe, but it's all about the how you like paint up the picture. I mean, when people read it, they want to be able to like imagine.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's a knock on the door. There's a wind blowing from the window, and I can't write that. It just becomes strange. It doesn't come natural.
Right. So maybe you could collaborate with Martin. He looks like he's dying to write a Lovecraftian short story.
Who knows?
I was just thinking of that because I've got a lady I've spoke to before, a band called Lady Axe, and her last album, because she's a writer as well, so every single story had a short story to go with it for every single song from the album. That was quite a cool concept. That's what I had it in my mind, kind of thing.
Yeah, it does sound. I mean, we are all for like interesting bits and parts, and then just we always try to evolve the music in a natural way and try new things. This is the next step for us to try something different. I don't think any of us have done that before. And we also have a really talented American guy who will do like narrations for a couple of parts, which is pretty cool because it gives that little extra atmosphere.
Yeah, always, yeah. So it sounds like quite often in the Lovecraftian stories, there'd always be someone writing a journal or something like that. So is that like a linking piece that you'll have? Something akin to that, or?
No, it's more like he tells a part. So one part he tells like what happened and everything in a sense. It's kind of hard to explain. You just have to be curious to hear.
Find out, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So has he done all his parts already? Are they already recorded, or are you sending them to him?
Yeah, he's done.
He's all done.
So
you're 80% done. So what, you got like one more song to go, or all the songs recorded and it's just a matter of mixing them? Is that the other 20%?
Yeah, it's pretty much doing the final mix part and then onto mastering, and then just discuss how we're best releasing it. Pretty much.
So in the next few months, though, more likely, I'd assume.
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, for sure.
And you still need to come up with a title.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the biggest issue right now, because I didn't think about that when I wrote the lyrics. I didn't think what the title was going to be. I mean, it could be something really simple, but you want something to fit together. You want it to call. I mean, it's the story, so it needs a name.
Chapter 2 or something boring like that.
No, fuck that. No, nothing like that. I want something more like, it doesn't have to be complicated, but it has to make sense.
Yeah. So what is the kind of like, can you know there's not actually written a story to it, but you've done it as a theme of a story. Can you run us through the story? Is there any Lovecraftian monstrosity in there that's a focus of it, or is it completely self-created story, but just sort of that sort of idea of menace that Lovecraft that did?
Well, there are no like real monsters in it. It's more like a story about a person who has this visions and nightmares, and
Right.
he has some kind of calling that draws him to something. I don't want to spoil everything, but yeah, and there are of course a phenomenon that is inspired by Color Out of Space.
Oh yeah.
Like the whole corruption and everything, but there is no physical monster in it. It's just, you know, the voices in his head.
Right. It's like unknowable, unspeakable, like you can't see it or taste it.
Exactly.
But yeah.
You can hear the entities, but you can't see them, because it's more horrifying when you don't know what you're facing.
And that's the other thing about Lovecraftian stuff. He's nothing you can fight. Yeah, you can fight the cult members, maybe. You can't fight the actual demons. You know, they're just impossible to beat. And
exactly.
It's just like you kind of just know you're gonna die or go mad, and that's kind of it, really. You're better off just running away if you got any sense.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's the interesting part, because it's not in many of these stories that you get to see, or the person gets to see the entity itself. I mean, in some, like the what's the one called? The one with the twin brothers.
Twin brothers. I can't remember the twin brothers.
There's I think his name is Wilbur. He's like a hybrid.
Wilbur Whateley.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Okay. It's the one with the whippoorwills, isn't it? The birds singing, exactly. And they're raising something in the barn that's feeding on the cattle, and
basically, it's his twin brother is like a monster. And he is more like a human hybrid.
Right. Yeah, and they got a daughter as well, didn't they, or something? I can't.
No, I don't remember. It's a grandfather.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure his daughter was made to mate with the demon in the barn or something, and then they release it. Oh man, what's it called? So annoying. Is it not? So it's a town name, isn't it? Is it Dunwich? Yeah. Dunwich Horror.
Dunwich Horror. Yeah, exactly. That's the one. Yeah, exactly. That's actually one where the person is the monster per se, and but that one is one of my favorites, and among of course Shadow over Innsmouth is great. I love it. Yeah. And then, of course, you have At the Mountain of Madness is also.
Keep talking about making a film with that, didn't they? Guillermo del Toro was supposed to have been making a film with that, but I think it all fell through.
Yeah, that's the shitty part, because if we're talking about movies and atmosphere and creatures, Guillermo del Toro is amazing at making, like, I mean, I love the first two Hellboys because he has a special aesthetic. And then Pan's Labyrinth is I love
crazy.
It. Yeah, it is. It's great.
It's kind of like he's not. I can't remember what certificate it was, but like it was kind of like a super creepy fairy tale, wasn't it?
Yeah. Super creepy and horrible. I mean, with the captain from one of the captains from Franco's army, he's horrible.
Yeah, and like the monster with the eyeballs in the hands as well.
Exactly. And the way he moves is amazing. Like the twitching moves. It's great stuff.
Yeah. All right. Okay, I'm kind of running out of things to talk about now. Actually, I can't think of any. So you got, because we see definitely we can sort of, not put in concrete. You can't say, oh, we're definitely going to do a gig there, and we're definitely going to do it, because you can't say anything at the moment. It's all up in the air. We could sort of talk about some more Lovecraftian stuff. Did you see The Color Out of Space with the recent
Nick Cage?
Nick Cage, yeah. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I actually loved it. I love the whole color spectrum is just, I love it. It has that Dario Argento vibe, with the like neon colors. Did you see it, Martin?
Don't think so. No.
you need to watch it for research.
Yeah. It's I think it's a cool movie. It's actually one of the better Lovecraft ones, except for Dagon. Dagon is also pretty good.
I think I saw that one. Is that the one that ends with like a woman, like she's in a bed and she ends up being half octopus, like from the waist down, she's got tentacles. Was that Dagon?
Yeah. It ends really weird. I think the main character's like in the water or something, and he has gills. I think I don't remember. It was just strange, but in a good way.
Did you see that? The one, something of water, the touch of water, the
Water.
Shape of Water. Did you watch that one? That was kind of slightly like a deep one kind of thing going on there, wasn't he? Kind of mixture of Creature from the Black Lagoon and the deep one.
Yeah, it was more like a strange love story, and I think that a lot of maybe metalheads would think, oh, it's it wasn't for me, but I actually enjoyed it. I mean, if you see it for what it is, it's a good movie with like good characters. The FBI agent, he's fucking horrible. He's terrible, and I really love how Guillermo del Toro, once again, he makes everything like really good.
Yeah, they won some awards in it. I'm pretty sure it got a good. Did it get Academy Award or something like that? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, me neither, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's pretty well lauded anyway. Right, so you still haven't got a name for the new. Do you want to go through the tracks? You've got the names for the tracks already.
Yeah, more or less. I just have to find them and find which order they are in, because I know it's so. Basically, it starts with a song called, for now it's called Madness, but I'm not sure it's going to be Madness. It's an like very down tempo, low key song with like choirs and orchestral parts and a narrational part, which introduces the whole EP, so to speak. So it's a short intro.
Right.
And then it goes into the call, which introduces the character and his visions and dreams. And then
it's kind of like a tie-in, like thematically, like Call of Cthulhu, isn't he? Because he inspires dreams in creative people, doesn't he? At the beginning of that,
exactly. And then it goes a little bit from him into a song called Colors from Beyond, because I can't call it Colors Out of Time, because that would really Colors Out of Space, because that would doesn't make sense. And this is the part that like explains the whole phenomena. I mean, not explains it entirely, of course, but what happened in this town that the main character comes to. And this song is I think I put it in the wrong place. I think it's Madness and then The Call and then Colors from Beyond, and then you have Whispers in the Dark, which is like when he passes through this town and everything is empty, deserted, and there are twisted like trees and everything, like the effect of the colors. And then it goes into the final part, which is the Forbidden Path, and this is when the main character he's led into a cave where he sees like shadows dancing, and he hears whispers that are like almost screaming inside his head, and he's led deeper and deeper into this cavern and stumbles upon a portal and enters it, and who knows what will happen.
So does it end on that cliffhanger then? So you don't know what happens. Yeah. It's kind of, I suppose it makes it. And I like the. It sounded like everything was like tonally very Lovecraftian, but like in little kind of like not like inspirations taken from it, without actually, wholeheartedly sort of stealing the ideas, kind of thing. So it's just like lots of snippets of Lovecraft in the whole story, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I just borrowed pieces like the colors and everything, because I think the whole aspect of it is very interesting. It's like a meteor that just gets swallowed up by the earth basically, and then just spreads its like corruption. But in terms of like beautiful colors that seem like, you know, not so harmful. But
yes,
the effect.
It seems beautiful and innocuous, but it's just spreading blight and death, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it could be a black fog, but how fun would that be?
Yeah, because a black fog automatically looks ominous, but like it's it's a good juxtaposition when you think about it, because you've got like the beautiful colours, and you're thinking, oh, this is, you know, this has got to be an angel or something like that, and it turns out to be, you know, complete opposite.
Well, if you, I mean, take real life for instance, you have those small frogs that are really colorful, that are really poisonous. Exactly. So, or like the coral snake, I think it is. Isn't that really venomous?
Yeah, I think so. Is that the one with red bands on it? Is that the coral snake?
Yeah, I think so. It has a lot of colors on it. So yeah, I think that's also a parallel you can draw. That not everything that is beautiful is friendly or nice.
No, in nature, that's right. Some of the more colourful things are the most poisonous things.
Exactly. Flowers as well.
It's like a warning to the other animals: don't eat me, I'll fucking kill you.
Exactly. It's like if we watch Martin, he looks really nice and friendly, and then you look at the colors behind him and you think like, oh, I see an omen there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on there, some dark secret in the shadows of his past. Yeah.
No, he's a really nice guy. So
he
writes great riffs.
That's cool. All right, then. So we don't know when it's going to come, but obviously you have to let us know when that comes out. Send me some tracks to play on the podcast, and
for sure.
Hit me up with an intro so I can use that on a future show as well. Hopefully.
Yeah, of course.
Cool. I'll let you guys.
What you need.
Just on for the intro, just like you guys saying, hi, we're Curse of Eibon from so-and-so, and you're listening to High Speed Hangover Podcast or something like that. Just do it how you like. You can add some Lovecraftian elements, whatever, you know, use your imagination. Just like a couple of seconds long, and then I just go kicking straight into one of your tracks.
Yeah, of course.
That's how I normally do it. And I can use it also on my Lovecraftian theme show in December. So
that sounds good.
I'll put it in the folder so you get at least 2 more plays.
That sounds good.
I'll let you guys finish up by saying whatever you want to say about your band, basically, and let why should people come and check you out? How can they check you out? I mean, we've got a link down below in the description that goes to my blog, and I think I've got all your links in there for your Bandcamp and your Facebook. Have you got a YouTube channel as well? I'm not sure are you doing anything on YouTube to support to promote the band, or is it just Bandcamp and Facebook and Instagram?
It is coming more and more. We haven't posted that much, but check Curse of Eibon at YouTube. Got our Instagram, Facebook, Bandcamp.
Basically,
basically
we have a YouTube channel, and we are trying to add things to it, but on say Instagram and Facebook, you post pictures now and then and everything, but we just need some more like interesting content to post on YouTube. Of course, we have the lyrics videos and whatnot there, but it's work in progress.
Yeah, so I'm just finding your YouTube channel so I can subscribe to it. There you go, you've got a new sub.
Sweet, thank you.
I hope you're both sub to my channel, guys, and you're going to watch future interviews that I do with other bands. Definitely. Just so I can get my numbers of watch hours up.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, of course we're going to follow you as well.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to add that YouTube link to the blog as well, so people can sub your YouTube channel as well. Hopefully, I'll add that to the blog. And just thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having us.
No worries. Hopefully, let's say when you get the new EP out, maybe when you start doing a few gigs, you can come back on sometime and we can chat about future developments kind of stuff.
That will be great.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Have a good one.
Bye everyone.